This video is about the ripple effect of leaving an abusive partner. We'll talk about 3 key ideas in the video. Number 1, the negative ways that we sometimes don't even realize that being in a relationship with an abusive partner ripples out to almost every other area of our life. Number 2, the opposite positive ripple effect people often experience when they leave an abusive partner, when those ripples happen in reverse. And number 3, practical steps you can take to help accelerate those positive changes after leaving someone who's abusive, so that you can get back to being yourself or feeling really good or normal again in a way that's deeper or quicker. This video is also a match set companion pair with another one from my other channel, Growth Panda. That video is about making important life decisions and how those impact us. This one is applying those principles to abusive partners specifically. You can watch them in either order, but together the 2 videos make a sort of matched pair where they look at the same ideas from 2 different angles, one applying it to general life, the other applying it to abusive partners specifically. So let's jump into the first key idea in the video, which is how that negative ripple effect of being in a relationship with an abusive partner actually works. We'll look at a couple examples of how something the abusive partner does ripples out to affect a completely different part of your life. For the first example, let's look at negative comments and criticism. Imagine that you're receiving a fairly constant stream of negative comments about who you are as a person, your motivations, your work ethic, maybe certain skills that you have, different negative criticism. Without getting into why the abusive partner is doing that, which is not the focus of this video, let's talk about some of the likely possible effects of hearing that every day. One likely and common effect is that the person on the receiving end will start to believe, maybe not all of it, but at least some of it about themselves. They might even in their own heads start to develop kind of like a little angel or demon sitting on their shoulder that repeats in their own head some of the comments from the abusive partner. Now, how can this ripple out to affect other areas of your life? Well, your confidence can affect many other things. For example, let's say that you, in a normal world, might have applied for a promotion at work, and that took a lot of belief in yourself and confidence and putting together a resume and putting your best foot forward. Confident you would have applied for that job and maybe gotten it, which could have changed your career trajectory. But the you that might believe the negative comments from the abusive person might talk yourself out of ever taking that life-changing step in the first place. They might say, oh, you're not good enough for that, or you're just going to mess that up, or you're not going to be successful enough if you try, so why even bother? And the point is, this negative talk from the abusive person can start to become internal, where it becomes affecting your self-confidence, which then affects your job and other areas of your life. Let's do another example. In this one, the abusive person is very controlling of how you spend your time. Let's say they have a lot of opinions, very strong, about things you should do and things you shouldn't do, things you should spend time on and things you shouldn't spend time on. Very often, this type of controlling behavior will result in you not doing enough self-care activities, such as eating a healthy diet, going to the gym regularly, and any other self-care activities you would normally do to manage your stress and take care of yourself outside of the relationship. And not taking care of yourself is often a ripple effect in itself to other parts of your life. For one, it could affect your physical appearance in ways that you aren't happy with and that make you feel less confident in yourself, which goes back to the confidence idea that I talked about earlier. For 2, it affects your overall stress level and your ability to be resilient and to handle criticism and accurately identify whether it is real criticism or not, which is kind of a negative spiral, because if you're not taking care of yourself and you're more stressed, and then you're hearing the negative criticism, you have less of a defense mechanism against that kind of negative criticism because you're not taking care of yourself, and so it can kind of spiral. And you could see how this could spiral and loop on itself and ripple out to other parts of life. For the final example, imagine the abusive partner is heavily isolating you or restricting who you can spend time with socially. This is common for them to do either if they don't like certain friends or family members, if people have started to find out about the abuse, or if they just want more time for themselves or to control how you spend your time. The effect of that can be that you have less time with friends and family, which can make you less happy as a person, which can give you less outside input on the situation, which can give you less of a way to de-stress, going back to that self-care mechanism, and which again can affect your overall level of engagement and enthusiasm for life, because you've kind of gone from someone who has this vibrant social life, who spends lots of time with friends and family and goes out and does interesting things, to potentially someone who has a much more limited set of activities and spends most of their time with the abusive partner doing activities that they are okay with. So in each of these examples, you can see the negative ripple effect. Now let's talk about the second key idea in the video, which is the positive ripple effect of leaving an abusive partner. And this one is good news because ripple effects do work in both directions. All of those negative ripple effects that we talked about can slowly be undone and go the other way. For example, if the abusive partner isn't around anymore to constrict your time and limit those self-care activities, you're probably going to naturally take much better care of yourself in whatever way is normal for you. It might be diet, it might be exercise, it might be watching movies after work or leaving time for yourself, but whatever it is, that's going to make you more resilient. It's going to make you in a better mood overall. It might affect your appearance in ways that you feel more positive about, and the cycle can go the other direction. And if the abusive partner isn't constraining your social life anymore, you'll probably re-engage more with friends and family, which will have a whole host of other positive ripple effects. For example, you'll probably have more objective perspectives than all of that negative criticism that the abusive partner was giving you. Not only will that not be there anymore, but you'll probably be getting more positive comments, or at least neutral comments from friends and family members, and also more objective perspectives on some of the same things where the abusive person was only really giving you a critical or abusive or negative perspective. So you can see that the ripple effect works in both directions. Now this brings us to the third and final key idea in the video, which is that it actually does take work from us to go out and take some steps to kind of get that engine going of the ripple effect. So we're going to talk about an exercise that you can do right now or whenever you have time to do it to help to accelerate some of those steps. So I invite you to do this in your head or to do it on a physical piece of paper. Either way works just fine. First, try to write down some of the negative ways that your ripple effects happened when you were in a relationship with an abusive partner. Did this affect your social life? Did this affect the way that you talk to yourself? Did it affect your confidence? Did it affect how you look? Did it affect how you spend your time? Write down or say out loud some of the different ways that you were negatively affected. Then for each of those negative ways that you were affected, write down or say out loud a few steps that you might be able to take to help to start positive change in that area. So for social life, maybe it's a list of a couple people that you should set up time to spend time with. For self-care, maybe it's listing out some of the ways that you take care of yourself that work well for you and a few to start to bring back into your daily routine. If it's negative self-talk, maybe that's journaling and kind of unconvincing yourself of some of the negative comments the abusive person would make to you. Maybe it's talking to a trusted friend, family member, or counselor about some of the ideas that you experienced and the way that your perspectives changed. The mental self-talk and confidence one is a very personal one in the way that you decide to deal with it. But whatever it is, at least write down some steps. And what you'll find is after you list out some of the negative ways that you were affected and some of the positive steps that you can take to start the engine in the other direction, you will actually look at your life a little bit differently. Just noticing some of those negative ripples is often enough to make you make a lot of changes in your daily life. Just being aware of them is often enough to kind of shake some of it off, if that makes sense. And taking those positive actions will help to get those positive ripple effects going and jumpstart that change in the positive direction. This exercise really can help you feel like you're more in control and that you understand what's happening in your life and that you can affect it. Now, I mentioned at the start of the video that this video is a match set companion pair with a video from my other channel, Growth Panda. That video is about life decisions and their impact on us in general in many areas of your life, not just about abusive partners. And a lot of the same ideas that were in this one are crossovers from that video. I'll link that video in the description below. You can watch them in either order, but I do think it's helpful to see how the same ideas affect your whole life and how the same ideas also affect being in a relationship with an abusive partner. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. Best of luck with your situation and take care.